Previously on our engine rebuild series. We came home to discover that our engine had taken a bit of a tumble. After cleaning that up, we then strip off all the accessories from the outside of the engine block. And with that done, you now join us in our attempt to finally strip apart this tiny little mini engine. Right, today's episode, basically what we're going to be doing is stripping this down to all of its components, separating the block from the gearbox, taking this bit off, and then start cleaning all these parts up, seeing what we can salvage, see what needs thrown in the bin. And we've got the help of special guest Xander, who we're just waiting for. He's coming downstairs in a minute, and we'll get cracking. First job, as you see on this flywheel, you've got these, I'm not quite sure what they call it, like crush washers I think, that you basically fold over so nothing moves and everything with how much this spins. So I just need to push back some of the metal that's been folded over these bolts so we can get them undone. So I'm going to get that done just while I wait for Xander. Basically going to use a punch, hammer, and just gently prise these back. First thing to add to the list is we're probably going to need new bolts and new crush washers, which I think pretty much everybody, when you do it, you're going to have to change those things, but that's okay. Alright, so those are exposed. So basically what we have to do is take off the 3 outside bolts in order. The instruction manual says you've got to keep this, pistons 1 and 4, you've got to keep them in top dead centre. And then our flywheel here, you can see the timing marks just at the top there, which they remain at the top while we go through all this, and then hopefully the idea is we can strip it apart with it's all still in the right place. With Xander on the tools, it was pretty light work of getting the 3 bolts out of the front of the flywheel. Using the wrench, and I was holding the flywheel still with a punch to stop the spinning, making it easier to remove the bolts. Bits for the flywheel, we've got a little baggie to write flywheel on it, put all the nuts and bolts in there. And anything that came off the flywheel, you know where it goes back. Right, so what we need to do now is get this back to top dead centre. So wherever the timing marks have gone, which are there, and these ones, 1 and 4. So 1 and 4 have to be in that position. Yep. So that's number 1, that's number 4. That's to be middle, and then we have to undo that whilst trying to make sure it doesn't spin. Oh, nice one. Yeah, boy. Nice. So Xander did an amazing job getting that off. But basically, you can see that that's the crush washer. Yeah, it just gets crushed over each side. And like just because these are really inexpensive, I'm just gonna get all new bits of these. It's pretty good. The overall condition of the flywheel looks pretty good. Some of the teeth are a bit silvery, but it's not too bad. So I think we can get away with using that again. So we're going to try and do the flywheel now, or I make Xander do it. And we don't actually know how to do it, do we? So what I think you do is you get this big bolt in the middle of this, then you get 3 smaller bolts which go into here. Apparently, maybe the small ones. Yeah, I think different ones for different sizes. And then basically what they do is they go through this plate in there like that, and then they use like opposite forces. So as we tighten these ones, the bolts that are attached into here pull the flywheel off of the main shaft that runs through the engine. In theory. We're yet to figure out whether or not this will work.
There is an instruction manual for this, sitting on the bench, isn't there?
No, we don't need instructions. Is the plate the right way around?
Do either of you know what you're doing?
No. Here goes nothing.
Are you sure about this?
Nope.
Okay.
It's working! Ah, it's working! Right, now take that out. And we need to use the breaker bar with the 22 on the end of it, I think. Nope, that way, that's why. The idea is
Breaking the engine.
The idea is, what we're trying to do now is get the flywheel off. And this little device here is a flywheel puller. So what you're meant to do is screw these bolts into the flywheel. Then the big bolt in the middle that we're trying to twist closed basically forces that drive shaft back and the wheel this way. But you see, I think that has to come off, I don't know. We're struggling with it because we're not quite sure if we're getting this right or not.
Go with your gut.
Nothing, I'm sure we did it all correct. Does that come first?
Perfectly inside.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to come off, does it? Tell you what, just undo it enough and then let's see if it just comes out. As in, like, can we make it come out? Like that. Fuck this.
Here you see an extra rare sight. 2 men reading instructions.
And to be fair, it's a good thing we did because we actually missed something quite important. And this should just pop free. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So that, we believe, is the main reason why we couldn't get the flywheel off, because we simply forgot to take that off. It's called the locking nut, which locks everything together, so it stands to reason that with this locked together, it's probably why we can get it off. Right, start again.
Round 2.
Right, so this time, now we've got the locking nut off, and we've got these studs. Basically they have to all be even, which is quite easy to do because as you're tightening them up they sort of meet resistance. Once they meet resistance, it's pretty much straightforward from there. This looks more sensible. So yeah, it turns out reading the instruction book is actually quite handy. With that locking nut out of the way, it does mean we can reattach the flywheel pulling tool properly and give this another go. So the way the flywheel puller works is it has 3 bolts that goes into the flywheel itself, and then the main bolt, which is right in the middle, pushes against the end of the crankshaft. And the idea is 1 pushes, 1 pulls, and it splits the flywheel apart. However, it really wasn't that simple for us. After using multiple techniques, such as using the drill and a breaker bar and a bit of heat and a bit of pushing and a bit of hammering, our flywheel simply would not budge no matter what we tried. So yeah, if you know what we're getting wrong, let us know in the comment section below, because it'd be nice to know how to do it properly in the future. After repeated tries and not really getting anywhere further, we decided to look for a little bit of help. We went back across a few manuals and we ended up watching a few YouTube videos to try and figure out what we were getting wrong.
Do it by hand now, but
we decided to go back to using the breaker bar, but this time trying to come up with ways of using way more force. We've done our research thanks to YouTube and reading the mini manual a few times. We have done actually everything correctly. It's just now a case of perseverance till this thing comes off. Eventually it'll just snap and come off, I guess. Hopefully. Weirdly, in this situation, only using brute force and nothing but hope wasn't actually working. The best thing about having Alex on board though is the fact that he is a physics teacher. Because of this, he came up with a really sensible idea of using a much bigger lever, which we achieved by finding a metal tube and sticking it over the end of the breaker bar. So after hours and hours of struggle and the 3 of us trying to come up with solutions, the extended breaker bar technique finally worked. Pardon me. Lifted both of us out of the way now. Okay, go. Yay! Oh my god!
It broke.
Let's never ever do that again, ever. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All that for those 2 bits. And you can see, it's a good thing we are going to try and change the clutch because this thing is pretty much smooth and no grip on there. And you see all these score marks here. I have to go get this machine and clean. Oh man, that was so much effort. Oh, fair play, it's still straight.
Wait, no. Twist it, look that way.
No, it's good.
Okay.
Well impressed. Whoever these people are who made this, that can be bendy, that's fine, but that, I'm well impressed.
Blood, sweat and tears. Blood, sweat and tears.
Well, that was a crazy amount of effort just to get those 2 things apart and release the clutch, to be fair. If you'd have had a better way to do it, please let us know in the comment section below. We are all ears. Right, so now the flywheel is off, basically we can now finally crack on.
getting the rest of this engine block sort of stripped apart and cleaned up. So we're going to start with basically the clutch housing on this end, and then there's some bolts to do on this side, which I'm going to do. And between us, we're going to try and take everything off so we can get the block away from the gearbox, and we're pretty much done.
In order to get the block and the gearbox separated, we first need to take off the rest of the bits from the outside. Xander's starting with the clutch housing, going around in a clockwise direction, undoing all the bolts that hold the housing to the gearbox and the engine block.
So while Xander works away on that side of the engine, I'm working down here just on the back side of the timing cover. This shaft here is for the crankshaft, and this one is for your cams. So one spins, the other one spins, they all spin together, hopefully in sync. But for now, I'm getting all these bolts off, just so I can take this plate off. And then with that plate off and with that side off, we can then slowly one by one go around the bolts at the bottom of the engine, and the block should lift clear of the gearbox. In theory. Ooh, what's that? Is that on your side? It's the cams! Right, so I've just taken that cover off, these screws off, and now we can gently release the cams. They look actually in brilliant condition.
And they're coated in.
They're coated in oil, which is a really good sign. There's no real score marks. Oh yeah, that's great. Right, you can see you just got this the cams out of the back of the engine. There's no score marks, there's no real markers of any kind, it's absolutely covered in oil. It's a fantastic sign. Dead chuffed with that. That can pretty much just a bit of clean and go straight back in once the engine's ready. That's a big result, is that? That made me very, very happy. Very happy.
I'll definitely take the little wins when they come. With that done, we can finally go back to Xander, who is just about ready to get the flywheel housing off the side of the engine block. A few little taps to the hammer and a flat blade screwdriver just to break the seal around it. It eventually peels away nicely, which is a huge step because this is the last thing to come off before we can attempt to separate the block from the gearbox.
Gently wiggle, gently wiggle. Yes! Yes! Right, so now we get our first look at this engine in terms of its gearbox, and you can see that it's super smooth, very, very smooth, which is a nice sign. Not much resistance. Doesn't sound too clunky either. The only thing, slightly concerning thing, is you can see sort of a bit of wear on these teeth, but it's nothing too dramatic. Sort of what you'd expect, I guess, after. Overall, I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty happy with that.
All these little wins are great, but unfortunately they start to run out real fast, as you're about to see. But before we get to that point, we first need to start separating this engine block. So we're just going around each individual side, undoing the nuts that hold the block to the gearbox, being really careful not to strip at any bolts, and then using a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer to gently just prise and break the seal around the edge of the engine gearbox. And I mean gently, in order to not damage any of the flat surfaces, making sure that they stay nice and smooth for when this engine goes back together. Once all these are undone, we can gently prise away the block from the gearbox.
Just tug it, see what happens. Oh. Well, that was easy. Where are you going? Come this way, come this way, come this way. There you go. Just gentle. Just gentle. That'll do. Yeah!
Despite this really happy moment, we start to see the first signs that this engine might have had a little trouble in its past.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Ooh.
Right, we have finally managed to split apart this engine and gearbox. Looking pretty good so far, apart from, you can see in here that something has been bashing all around, beating the crap out of whatever you see there as well. Apart from there, some right score marks there on that one. These look pretty good. That oil seal's shifted, it's a bit weird. The overall movement of the gearbox feels pretty good and smooth, it's just whatever that is.
It looks like something has definitely taken a beating inside the gearbox, but we might have to cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, our main concerns turn to the engine block, which as you'll see, also holds some little secrets of its own. But for now, it's over to Xander, who's using a punch and a hammer to relieve the washers, to get access to the nuts that hold the crankshaft and the big ends in place. It was around this point where our good friend Max came to join us that you've seen on the channel a few times. In the evening when Max came around and joined us, we didn't even have to point out anything. He made immediate beeline to the gearbox after seeing the damage on the inside of the gearbox housing. Whilst Max was looking over our gearbox to kind of come up with an assumption of what might have happened to it, Xander cracked on with undoing all the nuts that hold the big ends to the conrods and the clamps to try and see if we can get this crankshaft removed. Once he'd done that, it revealed even more secrets and really showed us the reason why it was a good idea to strip this little mini engine down.
Action shot. Well, it's very well lubed. It's very well lubed. I appreciate a good lubing.
Well, anyway,
Cool.
I'll continue to remove the nuts off the clamps. As Max removed the clamp, it gave us the first indications of just how bad the wear and tear was inside this little engine. And the really surprising thing was the extent of it. It wasn't just one or two bearings that might have been bad. Every single bearing, thrust washer, and the crankshaft itself was very heavily marked.
Oh jeez, all of them.
Even the crankshaft itself is going to have to be
Well, they don't even, the oil inlets don't even line up.
Oh, is that meant to be designed? Oh, it fits in there.
Oh, look at that. All the metal that's underneath.
Right, I'm taking out whatever this number is.
I don't know which. There's no front or back of it. That one hasn't even got a.
Look at how deep the score marks are on that.
I can feel it. Look at the colour as well. It's one. Oh, that one's just missing it entirely.
Where is it?
Is it on there?
Is it still on there?
No, it was never put on it. It was running without the bearings.
Oh, there you go.
That never
That'll
had a
do it.
bearing on it.
That'll do it.
Oh, that
Is it?
Is it? That must be it.
As I hold these up to the camera, you can see just quite how extensive the damage is. The bearing on the left had even worn all the way through to the copper underneath.
Oh, heck. Shit, man. Look at that.
That's soft number 3. Oh,
That.
Max's reaction says it all. With every single bearing that we remove, the problem gets worse and worse.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that's the one it came off of. Look at it. Crap.
Just run your finger on that.
Yeah, I can feel the lumps.
It's like a guitar. Oh no.
That crank is gone. Well, you can polish the crank, but then you
Yeah.
have to get different size bearings, and you're gonna have to know. The whole engine needs to be matched now.
Max is absolutely right. This crankshaft might be beyond saving, and in a short while, you're going to see exactly why.
I'm amazed it was running as well as it was.
Yeah, to be fair,
To be
fair to it, considering how bad this is, I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has.
The question is how long would it have lasted more?
Well, yeah. It's very well lubed, considering how scored it is.
Well, there's
Got
lots
to-
of there's lots
got
of
to
lube-
find the positives
there's
now,
lots of
aren't we?
lube channels for it to get into. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
that's 16.
Good thing we're rebuilding this, really, isn't it? Because otherwise it'd have just been, at some point, destroyed it, so.
Well, it would have been when you're going down the highway.
Yeah, exactly.
So in order to see the full extent of the damage to the crankshaft, I'm going to continue to remove all the clamps that hold it in place, to pull the crankshaft out so we can have a closer look.
I don't know why I'm looking at them. I'm going to get all new bearings anyway, but they look alright, to be honest.
They don't look bad.
They don't look bad at all.
But you're gonna get if you're gonna get it.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to do everything anyway. I have to do everything anyway.
So after removing the thrust washers, we could see that they were alright, to be fair. They're not taking too much of a beating and there wasn't much wear on them. However, because they're a relatively inexpensive part, we probably still will be replacing them anyway. With the last clamp free, I can now show you where the real problem lies.
Again, overall that doesn't look too bad. But that one doesn't move.
Yeah, but it still
no, I'm just
spins
saying
in there.
that's why it's good that that one doesn't move.
Yeah. Right. We can just grab that. Just grab that. No, you see the thing. The what's that called? That bit in the middle. No, that bit in the middle.
The bit
that bit in the middle. There you go.
Got it. That bit. What's that bit?
What is that bit? Bearing housing sleeve or something like that. Yeah. Well, overall, this prop shaft, just bounce it on the end of the table there.
It's got a lot of scoring.
A lot of scoring. That one you can play like a guitar. That one you can play.
That's number 3.
Hold on. Where's my microphone?
It's on.
If I just get it close to there.
Oh, I can hear it from here.
Oh dear, that's not good.
That's the sound of money. Yes. Falling out of my
Yeah.
wallet.
Why?
What the hell? No wonder it was unbalanced, unless that was designed like that. No, that's grinded off.
That's grinded down.
What the hell? It was too big a crank.
Oh,
that's why.
it's either a too big a crank or this isn't actually a mini crank. So after being able to literally hear how bad the scoring is on that crankshaft, we started to try to investigate why they would grind down one side of the crankshaft. So we tried to line it up with the gearbox to see if that gave us any indication as to why one side might be grounded down and not the other. Safe to say we're a bit lost for words. Maybe you could let us know down in the comments as to why somebody might do this. Is it for a balancing purpose or is it clearance in the gearbox? We'd love to hear your advice.
Amazing.
Well, the base is fine and your gears are fine somehow.
Well, the thing is, even if I put a new one in, at least you know you're getting your clearance.
Well, yeah. You don't need to worry about that. I mean, that's not structural in any way or going to be an issue.
It's just that. Well, I'm going to say this is just housing, isn't it?
Yeah,
What
that's
needs
just
to
a
really
housing.
do. I'll take a lot of pictures. I'll send it off to some mini experts.
Hey guys, what's this?
See if anybody can help us out with this because we're a bit stumped, to be honest. And this is just nasty.
That's gone. I mean, you can get it polished, but I mean,
It doesn't really matter.
well, no, because what about the balancing? If it's been grinded off, I would never use that again.
I'm gonna say because if it's not balanced, it'll never. It's pointless using that again because if it's never balanced, it's just gonna shake itself to death.
Who and why did they think? I know, I'll get grinder out and I'll grind it off.
Again, it's pretty safe to say we're pretty unsure why anybody would grind down one side of the crankshaft, and it is a shame that it is so badly scored. So let us know in the comments section if you have any ideas as to why or what you would do next with this gearbox and crankshaft. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so let us know in the comments section.
We're sort of in too deep now to go back out. So what we're going to do is basically just strip it all down. I mean, to be fair, it's the reason why we did it, is to see what was wrong with it. We well and truly found it, didn't we? Wobbly gearbox, a prop shaft that is completely unbalanced, probably because of how grounded down it is on just one side. All we're doing now is we're going to knock out these pistons, and then that's pretty much the block done, isn't it, really?
Space block down as much as you can get it.
Yeah.
Whack it out.
Whack it out. Rubber mallet and just
Pop, pop.
pop.
This one's going to be a problem. Should we do it from the other way?
Yeah.
I know we're not meant to, but it's not going back up again, is it? Hang on, let me get the-
Pretty simple technique, just to tap the pistons through with a rubber mallet. They came out pretty easy, apart from number 4, which actually did get caught on the crankshaft as I pulled the crankshaft out, which means it's well and truly wedged at the bottom.
You don't think that's working?
Piston number 4 was well and truly stuck, and did it occur to us to push it in the correct direction? Well, not initially.
Oh, stop, you're going to do damage. Yeah, because you looked at it, it's on the edge of the... Oh!
Turns out the bottom of the piston was hitting the block itself and getting even more wedge thanks to our amazing tapping skills. So in order to get this really stuck piston unstuck, what we're having to do is try and snap off as many piston rings as possible in order for us to be able to actually push it into the correct direction, back into the cylinder and out of the top of the block, which is what should have happened in the first place.
Hey, no, I think you just snapped it. That's good.
Yeah.
You just snapped the ring.
Can we get it off that little bit?
If you can bend it, you can snap it off maybe.
Yeah, done.
Pliers. Plier it. Oh! Hey, look at that. That's a ring.
Yes, okay, we've definitely made more than enough work for ourselves, and doing this on top, yeah, made it a little bit harder. But this is the first time we've ever taken on anything like this, and we are learning as we go, and at least in the end we did achieve what we set out to. So with a few more love taps, you can see that the piston finally gets released, and after flipping the block over, we can finally push out the remaining piston. A few little wiggles, and Max gently gets it free. Finally.
Oof.
That might be because of what we've just done to it though.
It's safe to say that these little pistons have probably seen better days, so we will be replacing all of them in the future. Thankfully the con rods and everything else seems in pretty good condition, but it gives me great joy to say that that is our little mini engine block fully stripped down. What a learning experience. Now I can't wait to rebuild this engine. Right, big thanks to Max and Xander for helping us out with getting this engine stripped. It is a few days later. Did do some research onto this gearbox. Because I must admit I was pretty worried, but we've had it looked at by somebody who knows how to actually look at these things. What he thinks is at some point this engine has gone wrong, especially the gearbox, and whatever the scoring is inside this gearbox and stuff like that is where whatever's gone wrong has been churned up by everything else. Now we were suspicious as well because all the cogs and stuff like that in the gearbox were pretty good condition. Well, it turns out, in fact, that they're brand new because we believe that this has had an actual gearbox rebuild at some point. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that. So I think we got off lightly there. And a lot of the scarring that's on this case just turns out to be from previous damage. So good news there in the end. There's a lot of scoring, however, on all the bearings, the thrust washers, everything like that. So one of the next jobs to do in the next episodes is going to be to get the engine block cleaned up. All new bearings, all new pistons, unfortunately. It is what it is. Going to try and source a new crankshaft as well. So that'll be in the coming up episodes. So make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow along for probably part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of this little engine rebuild. Unfortunately, it is what it is. This is something that we're going to have to do now, is go full send on this engine to get it back to life. But I guess that's the nature of the beast. But again, like, subscribe, make sure you follow for more. We'll catch you on the next one.